The caves of the Caribbean are home to a slick bird that thinks it's a bat. Deep in these midnight caverns, shining an unwelcome light will be met with the anguished screeches of the little devil known as the Oilbird. But how does this bird navigate in the pitch black to find its favorite tasty fruit? Well, it all comes down to having the right tools for the job here in life, death, and taxonomy.
Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal info. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos. No delay there.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of this theme song, our theme song. I have a different place, got the yips. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter, or visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons, too: Tristan Taylor, Jesse Raspolich, Carol Raspolich, and Richard Kaspar. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on.
And today we're talking about a bird. But more on that later.
Good catch.
I didn't write that right here. If you're listening to this only and you are wondering why it sounds different.
Bad?
Not bad, just different. Less able to hear it crisply.
Why is the quality dipped so much?
We're in the same place. We're using one microphone that is not meant to be used by two people.
Like, I subscribe on Patreon. They're supposed to afford this stuff.
Well, at least if you're on Patreon. Well, no, if anyone can read our lips by going to YouTube.
Can read our lips if you can't hear this. But yeah, we're in the same space. Second time within 12 months.
That's true.
Because we did this back in September, and I've struggled to find a way to make this work on my desk. But we're here. It's just like the good old days where we recorded with that Yeti microphone in a closet surrounded by your Gengar t-shirt.
Yeah, and instead of a sword, the background is credentials.
Yeah, you can see how qualified I am to talk about things I read on Wikipedia.
Well, you're qualified to communicate.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, like, a lot of what got me through school was things I read on Wikipedia. So I'm just, I got Wikipedia to thank for those degrees of their not flexing. Yeah, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the Oilbird.
Delicious.
And we're not talking about the one that Dawn soap makes not an Oilbird.
The arms of the angel. Yeah, the Oilbird. It's also called the Diabloton. Diabloton? I don't know.
Debutante?
Yeah, it's the debutante. What do you think Diabloton means?
Devil something?
Yeah, you're right. It's a little devil.
Little devil?
Yeah.
Little devil snack cakes. It's the chocolate one.
It's little devil's food. Yeah, little devil cakes. But like, instead of Little Debbie, it's like Annabelle or something like that, a haunted doll thing.
Oh, I thought you were thinking. I'm thinking of a cow, Annabelle.
No, but Annabelle's like the name of that like evil doll movie. Anyway, that's French for little devil because its cries apparently sound like someone being tortured. Although I listened to quite a few recordings of its cry, and I would say it sounds like a mix between a pig squeal and a cat in heat.
Huh.
It's like a rah, 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 rah. It's like not necessarily someone being tortured. But, I gotta be honest, outside of movies, I haven't
you haven't heard a real one.
Have not really been exposed to a lot of torture. Also, like, when you shine a light at the Oilbird, its eyes turn red because of the reflection, so it looks like a little devil.
I thought you were gonna say the whole world sees.
We're singing. But we're going to call the Oilbird here Chubby Chicks. Which will make sense later. And Oil Shrill.
Oil shrill. It's not subtle.
No, not at all.
Would you like to hear what science has to call it?
Yes, I would.
There's another, like, what's guarcho? Guacharo? There's another locally known as guacharo.
Yeah, I couldn't find the definition for that. I just wanted to go with the one, like, localized, the one international language one. I chose the French one because I had like, this is why. But the other ones are, like, indigenous names for it as well.
Okay, well, what's the indigenous name that science uses? Indigenous to the earth.
Yep.
It's in the kingdom you are in and you have an affection for. The kingdom Animalia. It's in the file.
I did not mean to choose some of the most difficult taxonomy words for this one, but it looks like you got landed with it. So
well, the phylum is Chordata. So far, so good.
Mm-hmm.
The class is Aves. You probably could have guessed that by now. The clade is Strysores. Strysores. Ricola.
Strassories.
The order. Here we go. There's a lot of syllables in this.
Mm-hmm.
Statornithiformes.
Steatornithiformes.
Steatornithiformes, yeah. And the family is Steatornithidae.
Steatornithidae.
Yeah.
That one rolls off the tongue a little easier.
At least there's not like strange vowel combinations in this.
The E and A. There's an E and A in the stea, and then there's an A and E at the end with the A. Like,
yeah.
Steatornithidae. They just needed two I's in there to make it just. Mwah.
The genus is Steatornis.
Which it means fat bird.
Good.
Which, I mean, since I'm telling you this, obviously,
yeah,
we're not doing nitty-gritty nomenclature.
And hopefully it doesn't...
We don't lose this.
Yeah. And then the species is... the binomial name is Steatornis carapensis. Didn't we... That sounds familiar, carapensis.
It doesn't to me. Yeah, so fat bird something else. But since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, critter groups. The part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question. And that question is the same every time. What is the name of a group of this animal? Or what is the term of entry? Or what is the collective noun? There's 3 ways to ask the same question. If you saw a group of oilbirds, would you say it's A, an echo of oilbirds, B, a Cannondale of oilbirds, C, a pinch of oilbirds, or D, a slick of oilbirds?
A slick is great, but that's really on the nose. Well, give me the first 2 again.
Echo and Cannondale.
Cannondale? I can look you in the eye.
Yeah, I know. Now you can read my face.
I'm going with Cannondale.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
You are incorrect.
But
I itched my beard because I had an itchy beard. And it wasn't a sign of that was the right answer. The answer is echo. It's an echo.
That doesn't. I was going to say slick. That was where my heart was going.
I don't know why I thought of Cannondale. I thought, now that I think about it, isn't that a camera? No, that's just Canon. So I don't know what Cannondale is. It just came to my mind. I put it in there. This looks pretty good.
Guess who is credited with having first described this bird?
Thaddeus J. Oil.
No. Alexander von Humboldt. guess what else?
Ah, that sounds familiar.
He
Episode
also
1.
is credited with first describing the Humboldt squid. Yeah. Which is our first episode.
Go back in time and just be the person that first describes things.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's that lucrative of.
No, it's just for posterity.
It's in that like Western treasure hunting, exploring era where it's just like, let's go to the farthest corners of the earth and discover things, and that's a squid. Put my name down on it. But yeah, it's on you now.
It is. Would you like to have it described to you?
Yeah.
What does an oilbird look like? Well, they're related and shaped like nightjars. If you know what a nightjar is, it's kind of a similar shape.
You keep cookies in it.
Yeah. This is the nightjar. If you can't have any in the night, we put it in the day jar when we are ready for cookies.
We have a night jar and a day jar for cookies in our house.
They sit horizontally and often sit with their bellies on a surface rather than upright. So like it sort of has a nightjar mixed with a parrot look, but it doesn't sit like up, vertically like a parrot does. It's like a horizontal bird.
It's a belly bird.
Yeah, a belly bird. They have whiskers around their beaks called rictal, rictal, rictal bristles.
They're very mustachioed.
Yeah.
They're like walruses.
And I can imagine what that might be for, considering the facts later on. Like many night birds, the oilbird has soft feathers to help them fly more silently. But Wikipedia said not as soft as owls. So don't, get too excited.
Yeah, I know that everyone knows exactly how soft an owl's feathers are. It's not that bad.
I mean...
It's not like... It's not Jergens soft.
If you touched an owl and you're looking forward to another owl-like experience when you touch an oilbird, it's not going to be like that.
It's not Jergens, it's Pert and Popular. Let's just bring that right back.
But the reason is because owls need to sneak up on prey in the middle of the night. So they need to be dead silent. So their feather softness helps them fly quietly. But oilbirds are not in the same business, so they don't need the same equipment. Its head and wings are mainly reddish brown with white spots. Lower parts of their body are cinnamon colored, which that sounds like reddish brown to me. I don't know what the difference is. With white diamond shaped spots that start small toward the throat and then get larger towards the back. Brown tail feathers are spotted with white on either side. So they're brown, white, and reddish in color. But how big are they? That brings us to the Measure Up segment. Welcome to the Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show. The part of the show we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in yourself saying, singing, or squawking like a tortured person. The words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We do have a new Measure Up intro this week.
Nice!
From Shayla. Do you remember who Shayla is?
It's not Sheila.
It's not Sheila.
We talked about that.
Yes. Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. I've never heard such a quintessential soundboard-esque dog bark.
That's like what Gene Belcher plays on Bob's Burgers. It's just like
yes, yeah. That was the perfect bark.
That was the platonic ideal of a dog bark.
Yeah, that's the Gerber baby of barks.
This is a baby and this is a dog bark. We've solved it. Everything else is a deviation from this.
Have you ever played the line game? There's like a good line game if you have cell phone service.
There's a good lion game.
Line. Like if you're stuck in a line or if you're waiting for something.
Okay.
It's a good game that you can play. Where somebody names a first name and everyone has to guess who the first person in a Google image search will show up.
Ah, that is a good line game.
So like if you say Will and everyone's like Will Ferrell or Will Arnett. Like,
Okay.
you have to guess which one it is.
Probably a lot of questions starting with Will.
Yeah.
Like Will it pizza?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's Google Images, so it's not just.
It's just a bunch of pictures of Rhett and Link.
So like, if you could Google what a bark looked like or could sound like,
Looked like.
if there was a Google sound search,
Google sound search.
this dog's bark would be Shayla's bark.
Yes.
That was sent
Shayla's
by
the dog or the person?
Shayla is the dog. The dog belongs to Nora.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Thank you, Nora.
Thank you so much. She's been putting the team on her back once again. If you'd like to help Nora and Shayla out, send us a measure up intro at ldtaxonomy@gmail.com.
And she gave us a lot of interesting facts about poodles, which we talked about in our warm-up. If you want to go check that out, if you're a patron.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's talk length. So between 40 and 90 centimeters, or 16 to 19 inches. So not a tiny bird.
Not a small bird at all.
Pretty big bird. So how many oilbirds go into the longest fully stretched slinky? The longest slinky when fully stretched. Wow.
Which is just a cord of steel.
Yeah,
I guess they're made out of steel. I really don't know what they're made out of.
See, like fully stretched is misleading. Because technically, you could stretch this slinky out so that it is a cord of steel.
Is that not what we're talking about?
No, I think you would have to like a slinky that you could stretch to the point of it like still being a slinky and not being destroyed.
Oh, okay. Because I thought when you said a fully stretched slinky, I imagined like in Futurama when Bender goes on like a bending spree, like he bends in his sleep, he turns Zoidberg's slinky into just a rod of metal.
That's the opposite of bending.
Yeah, he unbends it.
So like, I'll just give you like, it is the slinky's regular size doubled. Its compressed size doubled.
That's it?
Yeah.
I feel like I could get a slinky that's like 4 inches and then stretch that out like 6 feet.
Oh yeah, this particular one, because the slinky was made by Alan W. Jesse in 2017 for an exhibit on late 20th century toys.
So it's a bad slinky. It's a slinky from the 1910 times.
It's a no. Late 20th century would have been the 70s, 80s.
Oh yeah, late 20th century.
And this was in 2017. So, but this slinky was 4 feet in diameter.
Never mind.
4 feet in diameter.
This is a hula hoop.
And 150 pounds.
Okay, all right. So the more information we get about this, the less and also more odd it sounds. Like a slinky that can only go double its normal length. I mean, I was born in the late 20th century, and I had a slinky that was better than that. But if it's the size of a hula hoop, then that's a little different. 19 inches. That's a lot. I'm gonna say 3.
3, final answer?
Wait. No, this is a 4 foot. This thing's huge.
Yeah.
This is a toy? A 20th century toy?
It's a slinky. It was made...
It's a slinky you could kill someone with.
It was an exhibit piece at exhibit on 20th century toys. So it's like a set piece. It's like in the lobby or whatever.
Yeah, it's a slinky for Grop.
Yeah, it's a big slinky. It's a giant slinky.
Hagrid's full giant brother. Fine. 10 feet. I don't... 10 feet. What is that?
What is that in Oilbird?
What is that in inches? 6.3 Oilbirds.
6.3.
This is probably like a mile-long slinky, but whatever. 6.3 Oilbirds. This is a 10-foot slinky.
Final answer.
Yeah.
Move that decimal over 1. 63 Oilbirds. The slinky was 50 feet compressed and 100 feet at full.
This is not a toy.
It's not a toy. It's an exhibit piece.
If it came to life in a Pixar movie, it would murder the other toys.
It would be like a Onyx.
It's Onyx.
A Steelix.
It's that one Transformer that just sucks everything up and destroys it all. It's the one that's 50 times bigger than all the other Transformers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an exhibit piece.
Just picturing like a mom from the 80s, like, and you said it was like.
When you go
Jimmy, do you want this 150-pound, 100-foot long
no one's
slinky?
buying it. No, it's not for purchase. When you go to Disney World, to the Toy Story Land, there's giant toys everywhere.
Yeah.
They're toys. They're giant depictions of toys.
So it's like, this is what a slinky would look like if you were a mouse.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all it is. You don't have to purchase it. You don't have to have it in your house.
I mean, have you ever had to purchase a slinky? Have you ever been in that like economic position?
You can't afford not to buy it. It's so cheap.
I went bankrupt because I didn't buy that massive slinky, the very big slinky.
It was a bull market for slinky.
It was. You got to buy low, sell high when it comes to those slinkies. Those big slinkies.
They're too big to fail.
It's too big to fail. They said that about the Titanic. They said that about big banks, and now they're saying that about slinkies.
Let's talk weight. They're between 350 to 470 grams, or 12.3 to 16.8 ounces.
Okay.
That's a thick bird.
Yeah.
So how many?
Full of oil.
How many? Big oil. How many oil birds go into the weight of the heaviest bardiche? Do you know what a bardiche is?
Sounds seedy.
Well, it's if you consider killing people seedy, it
Sure.
is a weapon of war. It's a medieval polearm that is similar to a halberd, but it has no spear or hook. So you know how like a halberd is.
You have been playing Elden Ring again.
Well, before I started playing Elden Ring again, we were on like a medieval weaponry thing. But it's like a big, giant, broad axe head on a stick.
Like an executioner's thing?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
But it's a long stick. Here's a hint. The bardiche was used into the era of firearms. And the bare top, the fact that it's not a halberd with a spike at the end, the bare top made it useful for steadying your handguns. So you'd put it on the ground and put your handgun on it.
Huh. And then pick it up and chop someone instead of reloading.
Yeah.
Because who has that kind of time on the battlefield? It's axe time.
Yeah.
Usually. The weight of it?
The weight of it. The heavier weight. There's multiple weights. The heavy end.
I think we've shown how terrible I am at assessing the weight of melee weapons. Or the weight of anything in general.
Because they look heavy, but they're big hunks of metal.
Axes are heavy, though.
True. Well...
And the way you use them is because they have mass, which is different from a sword.
True.
Swords are cutting instruments.
But it's more because the mass is concentrated to one spot. So like an axe for chopping wood is actually quite heavy.
Yeah.
But an axe for chopping heads might not be as heavy.
Depends on how big the axe head is.
Yeah, and how big the head is.
That needs to be chopped.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm gonna say 15 pounds. Because you just spin in circles. That's how you wield it, right? You just kind of hold it at the end and just spin like a top, and then whoever gets in your way just gets in your way.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like solid battlefield tactics to me. The answer is like 15 because this thing weighs about a pound. So
okay, final answer.
15, yeah.
Correct answer is 8.5.
Once again, I have drastically overestimated the weight of melee weapons.
The bardiche on the heavier end was 9 pounds.
If it was 15 pounds, I'm see like a sledgehammer. That's what I'm feeling. But it's like a sledgehammer isn't as long, so it's like balances out.
So I have 2 hatchets. One of them is made for like cutting logs and wood, and the other is made for like taking camping and putting on your belt, so you can cut logs and wood. I guess
just less efficiently, but you can take it with you.
Yeah, but the one that's like. But it's like a thin piece of metal with holes in the head, so that it's as light as possible. And you could probably throw this.
You could throw any of them, right?
Yeah, yes.
If you really wanted to.
Yeah, you could throw it effectively and at a distance. But yeah, I mean, axes. If you're trying to carry something around all day, it can't be like carry something around and swing it all day. Yeah, it's got to be light. Weapons are usually light.
Yeah, that's why you stand it up and you let it hold your pistol for a little while, and you lean on it. You kind of hold it like over your shoulders and drape your arms over it, and then when it comes time to split someone's head open, you just do the one, and you're like, okay, that was a hard day's work.
But if you're
time to rest on it
marching into battle, you need to split a lot of heads open.
Yeah. And you only need to split the head, really.
Right.
If it was 15 pounds, like, I need to get into this person's solar plexus. Got to be practical with your murder.
Let's talk fast facts before we get into the major fact. Oilbirds come from South America and the Caribbean. But I saw like a heat map for this one was mostly like a sliver in South America. So
really?
So then its diet, despite the fact that it's related to nightjars and they're insectivores, oilbirds are fruit eaters and usually use especially adapted eyesight to forage for fruit at night. And they particularly enjoy fruit of the oil palm. I wonder why.
Palm oil.
Yeah.
Probably something different.
And tropical laurels.
You don't want to rest on those tropical laurels.
Not ones to rest on their laurels. They will retire to caves and live in colonies.
I'm so sorry.
So yeah, they like to hang out in caves, and cliffs and stuff. So we once thought that they literally never saw daylight because they would live in caves and then come out at night. But apparently, they spend a lot of their time in nesting in trees. But when they're breeding, they go to caves, and it's safer in a cave with a bunch of eggs. So they'll also nest in cliffs and crags as well. My favorite cavemen.
Cliffs and crags?
Yeah. My favorite...
I don't remember Craig's Huxtable in the show.
But that's all I've got for that.
Craig's Huxtable is definitely the one that sells them drugs.
That does sound like a snake oil salesman's booth.
All right. Yeah. I can find a good name for this major fact. See no evil, hear all the evil. It is the devil bird. It's the little devil, so, you know. So oilbirds are unique in the fact that they are nocturnal, frugivorous birds. Frugivores. They eat fruit, and in fact, they are the largest nocturnal frugivorous birds capable of flight. It's really easy to be the best. Yeah. It's a big fish in a little pond kind of thing. It's very specific. It's like I'm probably the only Carlos in Jacksonville that lets the milk soak in his cereal a bit before eating. Like that's I'm the only one. I'm the best.
I don't know. I think that's probably like there could be like 10.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the only person in the universe that does that. I thought it was like common practice, but like
to like specifically enjoy a soggy cereal.
Not soggy.
Soggy Nelson.
Soghorn, leghorn.
Yeah.
Not soggy, just damp.
As soon as
Moist.
it touches moisture, it's damp.
Yeah. So just like let it soak. Not like sopping, but like get the milk in there. If I wanted to eat dry cereal, crunchy cereal, I would eat dry cereal and then drink milk to chase it.
But as soon as milk touches it for a millisecond, it's damp.
No, it takes a little bit for it to soak in there.
It's hydrophobic?
No, it just doesn't immediately saturate it.
You want the insides of it to be wet.
Yeah, I want.
That's what I would consider soggy.
No. Have you ever let cereal get to the point where it's...
I've never had cereal, actually.
Well, then you might be the only Joey.
I might be the only person.
that this is quite a superlative there.
No, I've had cereal. I will do the thing where
if you let it get if you leave it out for like 10 minutes, that is to me soggy. Where it's like
that's like
it no longer
homogenized.
It no longer retains its shape. It is now one with the milk.
No.
You now have pulpy milk.
Yes.
That's bad. I don't like that. But there is like there's 30 seconds. You pour the cereal, pour the milk, and I want it 30 seconds. I want all of the cereal to absorb the milk, and then I start eating.
See, I will pile it like a beaver dam to one side where there's like a pile dry, and then I'll like slowly break down the dam, and as soon as it's wet, it's going in. I want it to be wet, cold, and crunchy.
See, I don't understand if you want your cereal to remain dry, pouring milk over it is just not the way to go. I gotta say.
Well, I don't want it to be dry. I want it to be wet.
Why don't you take a cup of milk, and then just kind of sploosh it on every spoonful then, or like take
that's so much.
Take
work.
the spoonful and just like bloop into your milk like a milk and cookies. You don't want to if I want to eat my cookie and then have milk with it, but I'm not gonna like pour milk into my cookies. That's insane.
Because I want the heat death of the bowl. I need everything to be the same temperature. I like the cold milk to. The
inevitable heat death of the bowl.
So that's what I want. I want cold and crunchy.
I think it's
It's Captain Crunch, not Captain Mush.
No, I don't like Captain Mush either. He's the worst at parties. But I'll never understand the logic of like, okay, I've poured my cereal and I have T-minus 15 seconds to eat all of this cereal after I've poured the milk.
That's what the dam is for.
But now you have logistics involved.
I love it. It's a process.
Now you have like land development and engineering.
Yeah.
And all I'm trying to do is just eat a bowl of cereal. So like I have this window between like 30 seconds and like 7 minutes where I can eat the cereal and enjoy it. You, however, have up to 30 seconds to enjoy that cereal.
No,
you are on a timer.
The dam works. The dam works.
Yeah, but you're doing engineering. This is work now.
It's great.
But that makes sense. I mean, if cereal was work, I would eat less of it. And I should eat less of it. It's not that great for you.
But I also will have 10 bowls of it, but because I'm pouring it a little at a time.
What is that? Your full-time job?
Yeah.
It's take you 6 hours to eat 10 bowls of cereal at that rate.
That would be an incredible job.
that would be the best job, as long as you could work off those calories. Anyway, we are so far off the beaten path here. People are hating this. Oilbirds, because they live in caves and primarily come out at night, they often work in low light conditions. Don't even get hazard pay. To help them, they have pretty incredible tools for a bird. It's common in other species, or in classes, but for birds, this is kind of unique. For one, they have eyes that can gather more light than those of any other bird. They have extremely large pupils compared to their eye size. So, like, they're anime. They're like, when an anime character sees something that's cute and their pupils just become their eyes, that's this bird. Like, they no longer have like an iris with pupils inside. It's just one giant hole for light to get in there.
It's an abyss.
Yeah.
For light. Yeah.
Light Abyss is my favorite anime. And they also have a very high density of rods in their retinas, which is similar to how a deep sea fish, the eyes of a deep sea fish would work, but not very similar to how mammals or birds would normally work. They actually have 1 million rods per square millimeter in their retinas.
Wow.
Which are special light sensitive cells. Humans have 150,000. So we're 9 times we see 9 times less light than they do.
Huh.
And cats, which notoriously have very good night vision, have about 350 to 400,000 rods in their retinas. So still more than double the night vision of cats.
Wow. Cats are basically blind.
Basically useless in the dark, yes. But they have pretty low cone counts, which means that they don't see color very well, and they don't see resolution very well. So humans and cats have them on that count for sure. But they don't need to, because they don't have to chase their food. They eat fruit.
But they don't know which fruit they're eating.
Right. It's just it was this green puffball. That's really all not even green. It was this light gray puffball that I ate, and I think I might be dying, Stan. Stan the Oilbird. But they can also hunt by sound and not by sight. I was trying to make a pun on a rhyming pun with faith, and then I realized that there's almost no words that are perfect rhymes with faith.
Wraith.
Would you be okay, would you have thought it was funny if I said hunt by wraith and not by sight? It was like, okay, how do ghosts factor into this Oilbird's hunting or eating? That's pretty much it. I looked on
Those are good slant rhymes.
thesaurus.com, and one of the rhymes for faith is interfaith. No, that doesn't count.
Hunt by grape and not by sight.
But it doesn't work. We're talking about sound here.
Talking about fruit as well.
Not grapes, probably. So the thing that makes Oilbirds truly unique among their other avian brethren is their ability to echolocate. Like other animals that echolocate, like bats and dolphins, they can emit a series of clicks and listen for the echo to determine how close they are to trees, fruit, cave walls. Not really problems for dolphins.
Cave walls.
Yeah, cave walls. But it's not as sophisticated. It's not as complex as what dolphins have. Because we've talked about dolphin echolocation, and they have this thing called a melon, which is this organ in their heads that allows them to both focus and amplify sound, and then also it's processed through the melon so that they can very accurately determine details about objects from far away using their echolocation. Oilbirds don't have that.
They're looking for fruit. They don't already have a fruit and looking for fish.
Melon.
Melon.
I was trying to put this in a way that didn't. They use their melons to focus. So the Oilbird uses mid-frequency, like definitely audible by humans, kind of clicks, and then they listen for the echoes. They don't know exactly what role that the whiskers play in this, but researchers theorize that they play some sort of role.
Well, animals that
they have whiskers,
hang out in the dark like a cat.
And walruses.
Yeah. Well,
and Charles Darwin and
we'll have Ron Swanson. Their whiskers help them like feel around in the dark when they're a face-forward animal.
Yeah, so I guess in the cave, in their nest, moving around, it helps them move around.
Or when they're in a branch eating a fruit and tickling around to find the fruit.
You got to tickle around with nothing but your whiskers.
Yeah.
If you're gonna find fruit.
Yeah, they can't see the color, so they got to tickle it to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just rub your face up against that, and you're like, that's
got the tickle of an orange.
That's an orange. I don't need to see that to know that that's an orange. I just need to put my hair on it. But they theorize that it helps them with the echolocation vibrations, something like that. But they haven't tested it. But for the most part, they hear. They listen for the echo of the actual echo that like we would, but they're just very tuned to it. Mm-hmm. So that's what helps them get around. They are the only birds that use echolocation outside of a few species of swifts, and apparently they don't have enough oil or mustaches to be interesting. And yeah, that's all I got. It's a bird that basically is like a bat.
It lives in a cave. It comes out at night. It echolocates.
Did you talk about the fact that... So we're not just going to leave the fact that I said chubby chicks at the beginning of this episode just hanging there. The fact that their chicks are way more than they do as adults. Because they overfeed their chicks before they can fly.
But then they have to go on a diet to get into the sky.
I don't know exactly what the process is for being able to fly, but the chicks are fatter than the adults. They get it to be like 21 ounces or something like that, where adults are 17.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Yeah, it's a Rick Moranis movie. But also they do have a lot of oil in their skin, and they're called oil birds because people would boil the chicks.
Really?
To get oil out of them.
Boil them to get oil, and they eat oil palm fruit.
Yeah, so then
is the palm named after the bird, maybe? Or does the fruit contain a lot of oil, and that's why they have a lot of oil?
But then it's like, why not just go to the fruit, right? Why go through the hassle of boiling a chick? Maybe it's processed in a certain way. But
oil palm. The oil is used by food manufacturing and beauty products, and is biofuel. Palm oil accounted for 33% of oil. It's okay. Yeah, it's an oily food.
Yeah. It's an oily bird.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. You got anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, for you out there in Podcastia, that was the Oilbird. Find a comfy cave, nestle in tight, and click your way to a better meal like the Oilbird here in life, death, and taxidermy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Death and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Goodbye.
Have a beautiful time.
Have a beautiful time.
Remember, God loves you. Or God made... What did he say? God made you special, and he loves you very much. Goodbye.
Is that VeggieTales?
That's a VeggieTale sign-off, yeah.